Do you need to know how to get your villagers from A to B really easily? Let me show you how. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, depending on what time you're watching this next episode from me, Avomance. Today, I'm going to talk to you about villagers. I've had a number of comments asking me whether or not it is easy or hard, and how on earth do you transport villagers from a village to something like an iron farm or a villager breeder. And actually, some of them start with, how on earth do I find a village? Well, there are a number of ways in which you can find a village, and I'm going to go through them now. First and most obvious way is to go for a bit of an explore, and this works on Java, it works on Bedrock, it works on PlayStation. If you explore, you will eventually find a village. Now, the best way to explore is to work in plains, to work in taiga biomes, snowy biomes, things like that. Don't explore in swamps or mountains so much, because there aren't really any villages that are going to spawn in those areas. So look around plains, look around taigas, and if you can, get yourself up high on a hill like this and have a good look around, because you'll be able to see whether or not there is anything worth looking at. If I come up here, can I see anything from the top of this hill? Well, like I say, there's a swamp out that way. That wouldn't be any good. Looking around this way, nothing at the moment, but I can see a pillager outpost in that direction, so I probably want to avoid that. Another method is to come on a site like chunkbase here, chunkbase.com. Now, some people think this is a little bit of a cheat, but if you've got the seed of your world, and this works on Java, it works on Bedrock, you can find various things like slime chunks, nether fortresses, and look here, you can find villages with their villager finder app. All you need to do is pop the seed of your world, and to do that, just type /seed in Java, and that will give you a long number. Copy that number into that section, and it will give you where the villages are, and you'll see eventually somewhere on here, there you go, there is a village at 688 minus 880 in this random seed that it's about to do. And you can see here, you can pick the version that you're playing on, so as you can make sure that your seed actually works. A third method is a method you could use if you've got cheats enabled on your world. Now, in Java, you have to enable the cheats on your world before you start the world. In MCPE, you can actually do that during your game. In Xbox and things like that, it's actually very difficult to do. But if you want to, you can type, so that's a slash, locate, and then capital V, village, select that, and that will give you the location of the nearest village, which for me is 1,000 blocks away, so I didn't exactly spawn near one, did I? Minus 512 minus 896, and I can walk myself over there and get myself a village. Now, if you did this in true survival, you would have wandered potentially for days to try and find a village, but eventually you come over a hill, and there it is, this beautiful village with its wooden houses and its strange murmuring inhabitants. This is payload. This is where you find the villagers. And in here, we can start to think about how we're going to transport these villagers or use them for something useful. So you're in the village and you found a villager you like the look of. What you've got to do is decide where you want to put him. Get a boat near him. He will jump in that boat, and that's because the hitboxes overlap, the boat and the villager, and because they overlap, they merge. You can then get in the boat with him and you can drive him around all over the place. However, going down is dead easy. Going up is less easy. If you go onto this path, that's officially going down and you won't be able to get him back up again. So think about the route that you want to take, and anywhere you want to lift this fella up, you need to put yourself a piston. Pop that piston facing upwards there, jump in the boat, get the boat over the piston, jump out again, come away, power that piston, which is not easy when you've got a boat on it, like that. You see, jump in the boat, and then you can go up to the next level, and rinse and repeat all the way. Now, another method that you might want to try is the Boolean method, and that in that way, basically you get your villager and you give them a little nudge, and you nudge them all the way to where it is you want to go. They generally speaking stay engaged with you until they get bored. Now in 1.14 they get bored a lot quicker than they used to do in 1.13 and below, and pushing these fellas around, I guess they just got a lot more confident, and as a result you can't push them in the same way and they get really grumpy with you. This is not a good way. It does work, but it is not a good method. My favourite method is the rail and minecart method, and there's a good reason for this, because once you've got it set up, it is an awful lot easier to get it continuing and doing more and more villages, whereas with a boat you've got to do the same thing over and over again. With this method you don't so much. You need a hole that is 2 deep and 3 by 3, so it's 2 deep and 3 by 3, and then in one corner you need it to be open in this way. So I'm just going to dig another 3 by 3 hole right there. Then put yourself a powered rail in that corner, and then you can run some rails away like that. That will do for now, just for demonstration purposes. And then power all of the powered rails by using a lever. You won't be able to put rails down on these path blocks. What you'll need to do is dig the path block out and then replace it with dirt, and then that, or stone or something like that, and then you can continue to place your blocks there. But then you need to get yourself your villager into this hole. There are a few ways to get your villager into your pit. Now the first way is to nudge him in, the way I showed you before. Another way is to surround this hole with trapdoors. Look, the villagers wander around and don't know where they're going because they're stupid. The third is to get them in a boat. Now if they're not in an open space like this, you may need to tempt them in by bringing some lovely goods that they would be loving to trade with you, like this guy. He'd love to trade with me. Look, wouldn't you, mate? Yeah, let's have a little bit of a trade. There you go. We like that trade. You're my friend now, aren't you? That makes them a little bit more interested in you, and you can then put the boat near them and you can drive that boat into the hole like a kamikaze. We're now in the hole. I can get out without any problems, but the villager cannot. That villager, poor little fella, is now stuck. But he's not stuck forever, because we can get ourselves a bucket of water, put that bucket of water into this corner, and that pushes that villager right into this corner. Now if you recall, we talked about hitboxes a little moment ago. This villager's hitbox now pushes outside the corner of this block here, and if we put a minecart onto that thing there and power it off, when it comes back, that actually will push its hitbox into the villager, which will pick the villager up. So imagine we wanted to bring our villager out here. Now it's not very far, and this trail could extend thousands of blocks if we wanted it to. Our villager is all the way over there. To get the villager up here in a boat is actually quite a lot of effort with pistons. To nudge him over here is almost impossible. But if I send the minecart off to go and get him, you can watch the minecart goes to collect him. Eventually you'll see the minecart going around that corner, up and over into the bit, and it picks him up. And then that minecart travels all the way back, brings the villager without any effort up the hill, up it comes, there he is, to the destination that we want him. And for me, that is the easiest way to transport a villager anywhere. Yes, it is a little bit more expensive. You do need iron, and for powered rails you do need some gold. But bear in mind, you can then take these rails back ready for another time. You don't have to leave them in this village, and they are used again and again. If there was a second villager in that pod, I could just chuck the minecart back after him and it would bring along a second one. Same as a third, a fourth and a fifth. So this is, for me, is the best method, and it works on all platforms, on Bedrock, on Java, on Windows 10. I'm pretty confident it works in all of them. If you have enjoyed this video on how to get your villagers into your villager breeder or your iron farm or other village related item, such as a villager trading post perhaps, then please do remember to slap that like button. Be great to know you're enjoying it, and I will keep on making them. And also, if you've not done it already, please do hit that subscribe button. Be great to see you in my sub club, and I look forward to seeing you in another video. You take it easy now. Bye.